I am muted, and there we go. Sorry, I am home in Central Command, and welcome to the Godly Trading Hour, all done in half an hour. Thank you for being here. Today, I wanted to talk to you. By the way, let me know if everything's all right in the chat. I was clicking buttons up to the last second, so if you can hear me and see me just fine, give me a thumbs up in the comments if you would, or an okay, or something like that. Today, I wanted to wrap up our week's worth of discussion on the trading robot that I built last week and sort of had a rolling start on. Show you how it has evolved over time, and show you the potential for it. How I'm going to be using this automated trading system, and what my purpose is in it, and what I have done to give myself assurances of what it can do. One quick question. There we go. All right. So, as always, best verse ever out there in the world of trading. By the way, this is going to be tomorrow's entire. This is going to be the crux of tomorrow's video of the week. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This is what I have been doing all week long. I have been developing the evidence of things not seen in this particular trading strategy so that I can have some substance to hope for. This is why I love this verse so much. So let's dive right in with a quick check. Remember yesterday I said, hey, we had some trade setups. We had CAD and Euros Yen on the 4-hour chart. Those did not trigger. And we had this crude oil setup on the daily chart. I said, okay, I'm going to send it at 5 o'clock. And I did. I do not know what I did wrong, but this trade is still pending. I clearly entered this trade wrong. I clearly put something. It was supposed to go in at the high of this candle, and somehow put it in at the high of this candle. So because of that, this trade has now expired. It's a shame because this was a good looking trade, but just for total transparency, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that pending order. So yeah, I don't know what I did wrong. Look, it happens. When you're manually trading, things are going to go wrong. You're going to fat finger a position size. You're going to go into I had a trade last week when I was on the cruise. It was a forest trade. And I'm looking through all my charts. I'm like, hang on, why is that a blue arrow instead of a red arrow? I had gone in US yen long when I was supposed to go short. Well, yesterday, for whatever reason, I have no idea what I did wrong. But this trade, you can see, is working out well so far. I missed it because I set it up for today's candle instead of yesterday's candle. I don't know. Anyway, so there's that. Now let me show you what I have done on. I'm going to go through a chart. Oh no, Excel spreadsheet on YouTube. No one's going to like that. Here's what it looks like. Here's what the actual Frank strategy looks like. I have 6 markets trading automatically. They are on. I have a VPS. I would highly recommend, if you're going to use an automated trading system, that you get yourself a VPS. What's a VPS? Is that one of those things where you can watch Netflix movies from another country? No, that's a VPN. This is a VPS, virtual private server. It's just a cloud-based computer is all it is. So I basically, for $30 a month, I have access to a computer that lives on some server farm, and it acts just like a regular computer. So I can put MT5 on here, and it runs nonstop. And if they ever need to reboot, this thing reopens automatically. The alternative is to put it on your computer at home, and then what happens if power goes out or something goes wrong? If you're going to trade an algorithm that needs to run nonstop, I would highly recommend finding a way to make sure that program, the MT5 or NinjaTrade or whatever it is, can run 24 hours a day uninterrupted. So I've dropped it on here. I've completed the optimization for this. Now, I do not have time to get into this today. Maybe we'll do an entire video or entire week on how to backtest. Backtesting is Hebrews 11:1. Backtesting is creating the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. There's a science and an art to backtesting, because have any of you ever done a backtest and then you go to trade that system, that whatever it is, and it just falls apart? If you tweak your settings too much, you're making your system work perfectly for a period of time that will never happen again in all of human history. So there's a science and art, and basically it's this: do as little as possible when it comes to making changes. So I didn't make but one change. I take that back. I made two changes. One change was I filtered it for time, and two was I saw what was the best take profit. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, that kind of a thing. So let's just run through them here. NDX runs. You can see this says Frank version 8. You can't see it because the logo's in the way, but up here at the top it says version 8. And this thing has been through, obviously, 7 other versions. And every time, I highly recommend this. Every time that you make a change, create a new version, keep a list of what each version is supposed to be like. And why am I doing this? I am putting this system on autopilot to free up my time so that it can do what I either can't or don't want to do in the meantime. And my job is still to manage it. A 5-minute chart, I'm going to be looking at this thing every month. 15-minute chart, I might look at it every 2 to 3 months. What does it mean, look at it? I might re-optimize it. Just make sure things are working the way they're supposed to be working. If nothing else, back test the period of time that you just lived through to make sure that your real results match up with the back test results, that kind of a thing. So what I did was I took the 24-hour test and said, what are the best time blocks? And I basically blocked that out. So right now this thing is trading, by the way, it's going at 1.25 to 1. Not just 1 to 1, 1.25 to 1. It's trading server time 17 and 19. So server time 0 is 8, is 4 p.m. So we add 4 hours, so it's 21. What is 21? 3 hours. So 9 p.m. to I can't do the math. Whatever hour 21 is to hour 24 is, or 23 is. That would be 11. I'm not doing the math. Anyway, so it trades for this time period and then this time period, 2 to 5. But I can do this one. All right, this is 6 p.m. to 3 hours later, so 9 p.m. And it's represented here. All right, so these are the time blocks. He said, why didn't I take a trade today? Well, I didn't set this up until after the time had expired. So tomorrow we'll come back and we'll double check. But just so you know, just so you can say, does this strategy work? This is NASDAQ on the 5-minute chart. This would have absolutely been a win if my system had been running then. This was 39 points and we got 45 points. So that would have been a win. This would have been a loss. I think that's okay. No, we had a win here, definitely a win. That would not have triggered. Here, let me zoom in for you so you can see. This one would have won. This one would definitely have won. That one would not have triggered. That one would not have triggered. That one would have been a win, and that one would have been a win. So yeah, for whatever reason, and I know the reason, but this momentum system works really well on NASDAQ on the 5-minute chart. I'm surprised as anybody to find that out. Matter of fact, of what we're going to look at, NASDAQ is the best one. So I have 6 markets that this is running on: NASDAQ, S&P 500, and the FTSE, the UK 100, and then gold and silver and oil. I tried it on the Japanese, the Nikkei 225, didn't do enough for me to warrant, and I tried it on natural gas, same thing. So just so you can see, here's where the one-time block for the S&P. The S&P was not very good. NASDAQ was great. S&P was not very good. NASDAQ's over on the 5-minute chart. S&P's up on the 15. But you can see this trade would have been a win. This trade would not have triggered, even though it would have worked out. And that was it. And then UK, we have a small time block and a 1 hour. This is on the 15-minute chart. Actually, that's not showing up correctly. But you see, here's where it took that trade this morning during that window. Triggered and win. So, well, I could have gotten more. You could have, but be comfortable, be satisfied with your results. So this one would have won, and this one would have been a stomp out. So 2 out of 3, which is why we filter them out. Look, there's another one right there. All right, so on to the metals. We've got gold. And you can see the 2 time blocks there. This one worked out this morning. We've got silver. Silver has 1 time block and did not have any trades during that period. This was me. It had this one trade right at the end, and the thing happened. I was clicking buttons, and there's a manual trade in there that shouldn't be there. But that one would have worked. That one would have lost. This one, by the way, the signal would have worked, but we're not trading that time period. This signal would not have worked. So that's gold, silver, and oil. Oil doesn't trade very much. This is 15-minute chart. We had a small loss today on this one. So that's all of it in a nutshell. I have been through, I've optimized, I've put guardrails essentially around each of these markets. Each one trades at a different time. So I don't really have to worry about is the S&P going to be doing the same thing as the NASDAQ? They trade different times of a day, and they trade different time frames. So it's another way to build in some risk management, is making sure these aren't all taking the same trades at the same time. Now, let me show you what the results were that I obtained that got me to here. So here's gold. This is just a back test of the 3 months leading to the beginning of the year. Why didn't I go back further? Well, I mentioned that for a 15-minute chart, I'm going to be optimizing and checking it on every 3 months, every quarter at least. I might go every 2 months on it. So I don't really worry about what it did last January. I really only want to know what the most recent results are. Every system is different, and every time frame is different. And you take that into account when you are testing out your system. If I'm on the daily chart, yeah, I'm going to want a year or two worth of trade results and look at those results once a year or so. If I'm on the 4-hour chart, I'm probably going to want 6 to 8 months to 9 months worth of trade results, and I'm going to look at it probably every 6 months. 5-minute candle, I'm looking at monthly. So gold is on the 15. So you can see in the 3 months that we covered here, we had a 61% win rate. These are all back test results. So the next step, by the way, is complete testing. All right, back test first, and then live test on a practice account. These are all going on a practice account. Then, after you validated those back test results and you know what your system can do, then put real money behind it. So gold had a 61% win rate, and it's showing a 36% annual return, which is great. Silver, but it had so 18 trades in 3 months. What's that? 6 trades a month. So 1 trade every week and a half. Not a lot. Silver, 36 trades in 3 months. So what's that? 12 trades a month. So 3 trades a week. Not bad. 70% win rate. Really good. 2% a month. And what you start to see is you start adding these things up. You stack them. You don't look at any one. Don't live and die by any one portfolio. I mean, any one market. Look at this. This is silver. So you went up. You're like, hey, this thing is killing. And then look, from January the 9th to January the 29th, it went dead sideways. You had to live through that. Automated back testing is fantastic. It gives you your data just like that. But don't forget the human element. And the human element is I have to live through what this thing is going to do day by day by day. So you can see the results there on oil. Let's go to NASDAQ. All right, NASDAQ, the best of the bunch. 60 trades in 3 months. So that's 20 trades a month. It's almost a trade a day. 63% win rate. By the way, you can make these things better. Everything's a trade-off in trading, literally. To improve one of these numbers, you're going to decrease a different number. You're not going to be able to dial win rate up and return up. As you dial win rate up, your return's probably going to go down some. And that is okay. If you are struggling in your trading, if you're just wanting to see some traction, if you're just wanting to build some confidence, buy confidence. BUI, right? Purchase some confidence. How do you purchase confidence? You give up some overall return in exchange for higher win rate. What's a higher win rate do for you? It makes you feel confident that what you're doing is going to work. So I could dial this thing up to an 80% win rate, and I would probably drop my return and cut it in half. I could double my return and cut my win rate in half. Everything's a trade-off. Anyway, let me just show you the total combined portfolio. By the way, make sure you do this. Don't just Look at one market and say, what's this going to do? Look at another market. I'll put them together. Take all those trade results and put them in order of in chronological order and see what together they do. Because you might find that these two markets do really well individually, but they might cancel each other out together. So that's why it's so critical to combine these results and see, have I made this system better or not? So let's just quickly look at win rate and profit factor. Right? Those are the two things that aren't going to change regardless of how much money is made. So win rate is 60% and profit factor is 2.5 overall. So gold is 60, silver is 69, 66, 68, 63. So, and then 51. So the UK really brought it down. So we're, all of these things we're testing in the mid to high 60s. Combined, they're in the low 60s. So together, they are not fighting each other. Let's look at profit factor. What's a profit factor? Your wins divided by your losses. And what that's doing, that gives you a snapshot of how you're making your money. Do you have a lot of small wins and small losses, and then you're hitting a home run every now and again, or are you constantly churning out small wins? Baseball analogy. Are you striking out a whole bunch and then hitting some home runs? Or are you getting on base a lot? So that's why I like profit factor, because it doesn't change regardless of how many trades you have or how much money you're making. Profit factor here is, where is it? It's 3.5, 2.25, 4, 3.5, 2, and so somewhere, and then 2. So somewhere between 2 and 3 is going to average out, and combine they combine 2.5. Look at that. And then monthly, each one of these is contributing. All right, this is 3%, 2%, 1%, 2%, 4.5%. Nasdaq, I said, was the best of the bunch. UK 3.5. So combined, they together 16% a month. That's 195% a year is unrealistic. I'm not going to expect this to give me 195% a year. Honestly, I would expect half of that. So 8% a month and 100% a year based on these results. But that's okay. I'm okay with 100% a year for automated system. And a lot of it, by the way, when you see a spike like this, this is sort of up and then down and then a big spike and then rather gradual movement. That there's something that happened here. This was, this is at the end of January. This is probably the Iran war, I'm guessing, is what happened here. Volatility, I should say, momentum strategies thrive in volatility. That's why the S&P is not as good as NASDAQ. That's why gold is not as good as silver, because they're actually kind of similar. The S&P is to NASDAQ as gold is to silver. Silver and NASDAQ are the more erratic little brothers of gold and the S&P. That's why you're seeing these kinds of returns. So this is the kind of analysis that you do. So this is a lot of numbers. This is a lot. This is part of being a consistent, successful, even-keeled, balanced trader. Do your homework. Do all of this work one time. Your setup is one time. I need to optimize these things from the get-go one time. Sure, every so often, at a regular interval that is planned, I will manage these things. So for the NASDAQ, and I forget what else is on the 5-minute. For my 5-minute chart systems, I'm gonna evaluate every month. Am I trading the right time periods? Am I giving it enough running room or not enough running room, right? That my return 1-to-1 or 1.5-to-1 or 2-to-1, that kind of a thing. The 5-minute charts, they'll get evaluated once a month. The 15-minute charts, probably every other month. And then see how the overall portfolio is doing based on, as compared to these results. This is the work of trading. Most of trading is boring paperwork. I kid you not. Most of trading comes down to journaling, spreadsheets, figuring out what's going to work and what doesn't work. That's the way it should be. Trading should not be adrenaline pumping. Trading should be professional. Sit down and do the work and let the profit roll in based on what you're doing here. So that's it for the Frank trading robot. We're going to put this thing to bed and let it run next week. all of next month on these settings. We'll check in on it once a week, probably. Or we'll update you once a day on this thing. Still trading this particular strategy on the daily chart manually, looking at a way to automate that as well. And then next week we're going to show you Forest. We're going to look into how to start building an automated. I've got a hybrid automated manual system on Forest now, but I want to switch that thing completely over to automated. Why? It's just I'm buying back my time. Paul said somewhere in the New Testament, Paul said, "See then that you walk circumspectly, redeeming the time." Redeeming means to buy back. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. The word evil means difficult. So I am redeeming my time. I'm buying back my time. I'm spending time now so I can drop this thing out, let it run on its own, and buy back my time so I can do other things and still be trading. That is the beauty of trading. It's when you had this type of system up and running, it kind of runs on autopilot. But no pilot is going to let his autopilot take off, fly, and land for him. He's always going to be monitoring it. And that's what I do. All right, guys, that is the end. We will not have a live stream tomorrow. For this reason, I have got a webinar to complete. If you have not heard about it, on on Wednesday evening, we have our free masterclass. And I'm going to pull up the website right now to show you if I can find it. Where did it go? All right, click that button, and it just disappears on me. And it's not okay. Fine. I'll just put this over to here. We have this free masterclass. If you just go to godlytrading.com, you can see we've got this: the 5 mistakes sabotaging your trading success and how to finally break the cycle of inconsistent trading. Absolutely free masterclass, Wednesday night, April the 1st at 6. I would encourage you to join it. There's a series of linked decisions that you're probably not making correctly, or you don't even realize are there, that are sabotaging your trading system, your consistency. Does anybody out there ever feel like you're just stuck being inconsistent? You kind of know what to do, and you know what you should do, but somehow or another you can't get momentum going. Well, if that's you, sign up for this free web masterclass Wednesday night. We will have it also available the following week at lunchtime. For those of you who are at church on Wednesday nights, we're going to have this available live where you can ask questions and whatnot the following Wednesday at noon Central. So with that, guys, I'm going to get out of here. So tomorrow I've got to write the webinar. I got the newsletter. I got to put out, free newsletter. Goes out to anybody who signed up for this gets the newsletter as well. So with that, I'm off tomorrow, but I'll see you back on Monday.